The brands that change history always took years to find themselves. Today, we have such easy access to attention that we can easily end this process of self-discovery. And we can easily get approval for somebody that we aren't. In the last couple of months, there's been a drastic rise in authentic creators. But the thing is, we still have processed this rise through the lens of virality. Instead of creation becoming a natural, authentic process in our lives, we force our authenticity in the hopes of going viral. We forget the beautiful process of creation without an audience, and we burn out because of our lack of identity. Without a solution, the art we consume will become alienating and will burn out or even quit as creators. You're going to understand the problem and the solution, but first, let's see how this even happened in the first place. Sam Selleck was the first one to bring this recent wave of authentic content to the surface. His 30-minute long videos got a ton of attention, but no one seems to understand the years of grinding it took him to reach this point. 2 years ago, I was stuck as a graphic designer. I was creating every day, but nothing seemed to be working. And because I believed all of these creators blew up overnight, I thought I could do the same. What I didn't realize was the years of hard work these creators had to go through behind the scenes. And what this new wave of creators and gym influencers don't see is all the work behind the scenes. Not just the years in the gym, but the year of consistently posting every single day before he went viral on TikTok. And let's be honest, are you willing to put that much work in before seeing any results? I know I'm not, but what happens as a result is we force our authenticity because we believe it will make us viral. And in the process, we no longer are authentically ourselves. We're trying to rush the process of self-discovery for the sake of approval, but that approval will never come. For someone like Sam, the videos were created as a natural process of his life. And I'm sure if he didn't blow up, he would still be doing them to this day because it's just a natural process of who he is. And if we find something that we naturally want to do that works, we'll win. There's so many different formats we can have, but why does it matter if we can't have longevity with it? What does it matter if you just quit because it's not who you are? Well, there's two big misconceptions around our belief of passion that will completely change how you see your art. But first, check out this clip from Gary Vee and tell me what you notice.
I get that because people look at me and they're like, all right, they want to become like a Fortnite player or stuff like that, but they grind 12 hours a day and they're still ass at the game. So it's like, maybe it's just not for them.
They could be a streamer that makes $55,000 a year and love life. Look, not everyone's going to make millions like you at it, but they might make $130,000 a year in Twitch revenue, and that might be a remarkable life. So there's levels to this game, right?
There's levels to this shit, Gary.
Did you notice anything interesting? I think this is a message that rarely gets preached because so many of us are following things that we're not naturally good at. We want to be viral, so we can never amount to any sort of success. We get lost in the spot of trying to attract a huge audience, and we don't realize we can have our own audience and have a great life, but we constantly yearn for fame as a way out. When I look back now at my graphic design days, it really seems funny to me how I thought I deserved to go viral. The reality is, I just wasn't ready for the opportunities to come my way. I didn't have any sort of foundation at all, and just the habits that I needed to build weren't there. I couldn't be consistent, and 2 years later, I'm still struggling with this today. It takes time. Because of this pursuit of virality, we can constantly delay the realization that making it is just not what we wanted. I feel like in our creativity, we are constantly met with the trap of changing our style, trying to morph who we are to fit in with something that already works or that will go viral. Especially if your goal is to grow a fan base, it's incredibly hard to stick to who you are in the name of that goal. We forget that anything truly great, anything new, is done alone. I was stuck trying to go viral, but I didn't realize that if I focused on building my own small community, I would win. But if we lose confidence in our own decisions, we look for formats and a way out of our own development as people. If we don't know who we are, we just won't be able to have an audience that resonates with us. We copy other styles, we morph our art, and we even give up. I think it helps to realize that you might just be the leader. There's no one else out there because you are the one that will bring that style into the light. If you do it the right way and you're authentically yourself in the creative process, there will be no one else with work like yours. you will be able to develop an audience that is truly unique to you. And oftentimes, that comes with years of figuring out your style and figuring out how an audience will receive it. I was tempted to make more shallow video essays for some easy views, but I realized that the channels with these video essays have terrible retention because there's no authenticity. They get no subscribers from these videos, and I feel like this is exactly what's happening when we neglect our authenticity. We lose the audience along the way, and we forget who we're serving with our creativity. We neglect our core audience, and we give up instead of taking the years to figure out who your own unique audience is. We may try to follow a format for easy views, but nothing great comes from a format. In our own lives, we're tempted to follow the same course. Instead of developing as people, we look to others around us to take us out of this trap. We might copy their mannerisms, their thoughts, ideas, and even personality. It's just easier, but in the long run, we would be glad it took an extra year or two. I think I know why we fall into this trap, but the solution is often overlooked. I'm gonna play a few more clips and tell me what you notice about our idea of passion.
Find a thing you like. Try to find a thing that you really enjoy. Try to find a thing that you're passionate about.
If someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true.
The thing about passion is you gotta have it, but only a moron would follow it. Bring your passion with you in all things, but never ever follow it.
What did you notice? Isn't this interesting? There seems to be no concise and accepted idea of passion at the top. Is passion something we follow? Is it something we ignore? Or is it something we take with us? What is the answer here? In my own experience, I think we give up because we believe passion is something fun and entertaining. We're told that if you're passionate about something, you'll never work a day in your life. But if you've ever done something you're passionate about consistently, you probably know this isn't true. If you look at the original definition of passion, you'll find something very interesting. Historically, passion was used to describe the sacrifice Christ made on the cross. And I think it's a perfect metaphor for following our own passions. We must choose our sacrifice. Rather than letting the sacrifice take shape in our lives, we must choose where we suffer in order to achieve greatness. The story of Christ is one about suffering, sacrificing for your cause, and putting everything on the line for that goal. The reason why we might get stuck and become so depressed following our goals is because we probably have a false expectation. We think following what we love is going to be easy and fun, but anything truly great comes out of immense pain and suffering. But how exactly does this make us quit? Something that we originally thought was our passion ends up getting discarded because it's hard. We end up having second thoughts about it even being our passion because it becomes difficult. We're told our passion should be easy, so something that's hard couldn't be our passion, right? Well, I think a great metaphor for this is relationships. A relationship that is forged in fire, that you work through the ups and downs, is meant to be. You work through it and force it to work out. But something you can't fight for, something that gets thrown away with the first sign of struggle, is something that was just used for convenience. If you're willing to struggle for what you love, that's how you know it's your passion. This might be a dumb example, but the first thing I thought of was the movie Gattaca. You probably have watched it in science class, but if you're not familiar, main character Vincent is born in a society that is massively genetically engineered. He was born right before they introduced genetic modification, and because of it, he wasn't allowed to pursue his dream of going into space. They're afraid someone like him would get sent off and die from a heart attack because he didn't have the perfect genes. Think about that for a second. But despite this, he finds a way to sneak into the office and starts working there right under their noses. He disguises himself, and if he gets caught, he would get killed right on the spot. But he finds a way to make his dream a reality. And despite the hardship, he makes it onto the shuttle, gets to space, and makes it to safety. He made it happen. What do you think? The hardest part, I think, is when nothing seems to be working. In the back of our minds, we know we could always just cop out and try the easy formula to succeed. We're just not who we need to be as people yet, and rather than waiting for something natural to happen or a piece of our development to take place, we could stop and get some easy money or clout. This is the big thing separating small creators from the personal brands that change history. These personal brands like Sneako, Kanye, mrbeast, or really any creator with longevity were content with taking the time to work on their craft and the years of failure before they blew up. Essay channels and small creators like myself want to grow immediately. And although they may make money with their fast rise, their connection and depth with their audience is just not there. Most often, these personal brands actually make way more bread than the creators with quick virality because of the depth and connection they have with their audience. Now, let's take another look at what Mike Rowe said about passion, and I think you'll find it makes way more sense.
I joked about that back in 2004 with a pig farmer on Dirty Jobs. And he said, listen, the thing about passion is you gotta have it, but only a moron would follow it. Bring your passion with you in all things, but never ever follow it. And so on Dirty Jobs, we say, don't follow your passion, but always bring it with you.
Does it make sense now? It's for this reason I think true creativity is subtle. It's not something crazy. It's just something simple where the passion works itself into whatever you're doing. The most creative and authentic work comes from you being you, from figuring out how you as a person transcribes onto the canvas. But the more we understand, the less we know. The more we try to figure out, the more rules we adopt, and the less authentic we even get. The more we force our authenticity, the less authentic we become. But when you forget that you're even putting on a persona, when you forget that you're even creating, that's when your true self will show its face. That's when you'll make the best work, and that's when your audience will show the most support. But you might be thinking, Justin, how do you know your authenticity will work with what you're doing? And the truth is, you don't know until it does. And a big part of it is to understand that you're never done becoming yourself. That sounds kind of weird, but it's true. Who we are is a process of what we've done as people. And to change, we have to force ourselves into new environments and new situations. Who we are is not constant. It is ever evolving and changing. So if something we're doing isn't working, we can simply change. And eventually that change will become natural to us. It will become who we are with our own spin attached. This is why people can do the same things, but have a completely different result or method behind that thing. Everyone does something a little bit differently because of who they are, and you won't lose that because it's just you. In the big picture, the way to improve is to just force yourself to do things you want or don't want to do. Force your way out to the arena and battle until you can't anymore. This seems complicated though, doesn't it? But it's actually really easy. We just overcomplicate things, I feel like, in a way to procrastinate. We love to get stuck in our journey. We love to have no idea what we're doing. But in reality, we always know the next step. We just have to keep going.
We're about to drive to Rochester. You get to West Virginia. Are you in Rochester?
Hell no.
Do you say to yourself, I'm not in Rochester yet. You know what? Let me go back home.
Right.
You don't say that. You know the direction. If I just keep going this way, I'm going to get to Rochester. That's just how it works. But in our businesses, we get to West Virginia and we're like, oh, we're not in Rochester. Let me go back home. Then you go back home. Then you're like, I still want to go to Rochester. So then you get back in the car. You start driving again. And you're like, in North Carolina, I'm not in Rochester. Let me go back home. It doesn't make sense to do that. Because once you know where you're going, you know the end point destination. All I got to do is just keep going. I just got to keep pushing in that direction. Push a little gas in that direction.
What I do when I'm stuck is I just force myself to make something, even if it's terrible. I think simply allowing yourself to make something awful really helps. And when you force yourself to share something, that next step will come to you out of nowhere. And I know this is cool and all, but how do we know the parts of ourselves that will work on social media? How do we know what we need to improve in the first place? The difficult part here is that the only answer is through immense amounts of repetition and experimentation. Through forcing our authenticity, we often commit to something that's not even who we are. There's a fine line between seeing the end goal and allowing yourself to take on new opportunities that will push that goal forward. And in this forced authenticity, we neglect the experimentation that we need to grow and even develop a new sense of identity. We commit to posting the same thing every day for years like Sam Sulek, but the truth is, for most of us, it's not going to work out the same way. Many of us have a completely different appeal than someone like Sam, and because of that, we unfortunately have to experiment and figure out what works for us. You'll find the answer, and it's really simple. Just make the next piece, and soon enough, the momentum will take over, and you'll make way more progress than you ever have before. Yo, what's up guys? So thanks a ton for watching this video, because I put probably, I don't even know how long, I don't even want to say how much I edited this video. So thanks guys for watching. If you guys want to help me out, join the Discord in the description below. I'll be in there. I'm trying to revitalize it, so definitely join up if you're an artist or whatever else. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
I got money on the way, but I ain't want it all along. Tears all on my face while I get to singing this song. Baby, do you want me? Do you want the money? I get hundreds, but I also got the love.
Would you rather with just Dyna? Say hello.
Hi.
Please.